So I want to acknowledge, like others have, your family. So all the families of the graduates, we love you. You've been supporting us. You've been supporting them, the parents, the foods, and the children, and everybody who's made sacrifices for you to be here. Let me tell you what I call that. Let me tell you what your parents did. Let me tell you what your children and your family members have been doing for you to help you get here. They've been working their shift. That's all they do. When grandmama babysat for you, she was working her shift.
Thank you, Mommy.
When somebody broke you off a little change and said, baby, even though I don't have enough for myself, but I'm sacrificing for you, I'm working my shift. And then the good news is that you've been working your shift while you're here. You've been doing it because you know that people are going to follow you. And you're being watched. Everybody's watching you. So I want to call up everybody here who's ever helped me to get here. I want to call up the spirit of everybody, and I want to start with calling up Mother Odessa Cox, and I want to read a few quotes from her. So what we found out on Mother Odessa Cox is on July 11, 1967, at 3:30 a.m. in the morning. 3:30 a.m. I was asleep. Everybody was asleep. But Odessa Cox, Adele Cannon, Sue Acosta, Dr. Agnes Moreland Jackson, they were here waiting for the bungalows to arrive. And in our book, we read, this is what Odessa Cox told you, young people. This is what she told you. She says, you got to do better than me. So you go to school and you get yourself an education. So you won't have to suffer like we're suffering. That's what Mother Odessa Cox told us. When she built this college, this is what she said. She said, come here to learn, babies, but leave to serve. Leave to serve God's children. She said, don't let that prejudice stop you from doing what you got to do. I got a feeling that this was our duty to correct these wrongs wherever they are. That's what you are. You're social justice people. The reason why there's a crisis in black education is because we have a social justice issue. She said, I must have gone to that school board for 10 years straight, at least 3 times a week, if not more, to convince them that we gone. I gotta say it like that. We gone. Have a Los Angeles Southwest College in South Central Los Angeles, baby. We gonna have it. You're not gonna tell me no. And I feel like, yes, I've been denied this, but don't just sit there and talk about it. You gotta get up and do something about it. And what I want to tell the ladies in here is that you have the same power Odessa Cox had in her is also in you. So the crisis in black education, that's how deep I'm about to go there now. The crisis in black education, you've heard it explained, Dr. Weber's talked about it, Lafayette's talked about it. The problem is that there's still an achievement gap after 50 years. We have not changed the condition because the schools have not, they've been checking our reading scores, but they haven't scored with the reading. They've been checking our math scores, but they haven't scored with the math. But the good news is, if you ask me, you say, Doc, how do we change, or how do we mitigate, or how do we lessen the crisis in black education? Well, I've been watching you all, because a lot of you are my students, and you've already done it. So all I did was write a speech about what I've seen you do. So all I'm here to do is just give back to you, because I want everyone in here to know that you have the winning schematic. You have figured it out because you didn't let anything tear you down. You kept moving and you kept pressing to get this education. You wanted it bad, so you put a hole in the school-to-prison pipeline. You put a hole. You guys are disruptors. You said, no, we're changing it. We're changing. We're making generational changes. So how do you change the school? Or how do you change the crisis? First, you got to give you some F's. First, you got to get fired up. Right? Because I've seen you and you've been fired up. President Barack Obama, I have to evoke his spirit. Come on, President Barack Obama. He said your destiny is not written for you, your destiny is written by you. You are in charge of your destiny. And then he said this woman in South Carolina, this little woman, little short woman, he was sick. He didn't even want to go forward. He was tired. And she walked around the room with a little gold tooth and a little church hat. And she said, I'm fired up and ready to go. And I want you to repeat that with me. Say, I'm fired up and I'm ready to go. Let's do it again. I'm fired up and I'm ready to go. One more time. I'm fired up and I'm ready to go. You might sound ready to go. I know how y'all feel. So you got to get fired up. You got to get focused. And you gotta fail sometimes, and I've seen you fail. It's all right, you hear. You gotta fight, you gotta have faith, and you gotta rely on your friends and your family. So let's look at getting focused. Once you're focused, and I've seen you get focused, once you're locked in, nothing can stop you. That's called aspirational capital. Ain't no stopping us now. We on the move. So once you get focused, there's nothing that you can't do, and you know it, don't you? As soon as you got focused on those studies, good things started to happen. Your professors, Brother Cosby got focused, and look at him. Maisha Jones got focused, look at her. Ms. Tucker got focused, and look at her. Dr. Lee, Ms. Suzanne, Dr. Dude. I gotta hope all these folks got focused enough to get Dr. Bradford wearing a focused robe right now. You know? But the good news, I'm almost there. I only have a few more points. The good news, once you get focused, you can't get stopped. And all I'm telling you is that this black graduation is just practice for great things to come. Sometimes you gotta practice. See, Odessa Cox, she started Henry Clay School too. She was just practicing on the middle school. She said, I got bigger things to do. So I'm gonna get a college, I'm gonna get Southwest College. And then she was instrumental in making sure Dominguez Hills was here for her babies. But once you get focused, then you can do it like this. I wanna get ready to put on a long black robe. This is how it looks, y'all. This is how it looks when you get focused. You get the BA. See, the AA role is the same as the BA role. And the master's role is a little different. But then you get the doctorate role, baby. There's some bars on it. And you just get ready to get your long black robe. Sometimes you have to fail. But I don't care about failure because it ain't nothing but learning from it. It's a learning experience, right? Failure, F, is just your first attempt. A, I, in learning. We're supposed to fail. It's all right. But we get back up. We fall down. But we get back up because we're resilient. We're resilient. You've had to fight and fight and fight and fight for it. You've had to fight the family drama. You've had to fight the street drama. You had to fight the work drama. You had to fight some of these professors. Some of us crazy folk, right? You had to fight the crazy. But you're still fighting because you know that your life depends on your fight. And it still does, and it still will. You've also had to have faith, and I've seen the faith expressed here. 2 more points and I'm done. You've had to have the faith, and I've seen it. You've been glorifying. There's a spiritual song that goes like this. It says, when it looked like there was no sun, when it looked like there would be no sun in the sky, God put a rainbow in the clouds. And that's your faith. If you got faith, you can see your way through. So you guys knew that you could make it. Professor Jones, I'm looking at you. She calls it your spiritual locus of control. See, they did a study and they found Dr. Harper did 500 black males in college who had 3.0s or above. 500 of them had it. 498 said, I'm here because of my spiritual locus of control. God's got my back. I got faith, I can do it. And then lastly, you depended on your friends and your family. So your friends have been looking out for you, your family's been looking out for you, and you created a community. So I want to give you sang earlier the Negro, the Black National Anthem, right? So James Weldon Johnson also wrote a poem called Tonk, where his family helps to solve the achievement crisis. It goes like this. Look here, Tonk. Now ain't this awful? I thought I done sent you off to school, boy. Don't you know that you was growing to be a regular fool? Where's them books I done bought you? Look here, boy, you tell me quick. Where's the Webster Blue Black spelling and brand new arithmetic? While I'm thinking you was in the school learning, why bless my soul, you in the woods playing. Can't you do like you was told? Boy, I tell you, it's just scandalous the way that you was going on, and you surely gonna be sorry as true as you was born. Here I am trying hard to raise you as a credit to this race, and you trying to heap much harder for to come up in disgrace. These the days, listen to this one. These the days when men don't get to the top by hooks and crooks. You got to get there standing on a pile of books. That's the fact of education. That's the thing that's going to rule. Get them books, you lazy rascal, and get your place back in school. I'm fired up and ready to go. Come on. I'm fired up and ready to go. I'm fired up